Hi guys, Max Shank here, and welcome back to your 5-day mobility reset. Today I want to talk to you about the hips. Now, this is an area that people really mess up a lot, so I'm going to keep it as simple as possible and only focus on the most important things. Main thing that people lose when it comes to hip mobility is they don't have adequate core activation. So I want you to get into the habit when you're doing any of these mobility exercises to use your fingers or a dowel to kind of poke around and try to find any chinks in the armor while you're doing these hip mobility exercises. Even something as simple seeming as some half kneeling postures. Now this is a tremendous hip mobility exercise here, but the problem is that when most people do this alternating half kneeling compass exercise, they end up losing their good pelvic stability. And that's because of a lack of coordination and strength in the abs, especially the external oblique, which is like a nice big stabilizer of the pelvis. So you really want to make sure, no matter which of these mobility drills you're doing and how you put them together, that you have really good activation everywhere. And go ahead and use the tips of your fingers and try to find any spots that just aren't quite firing right. It's actually really common, even for people who are extremely strong, myself included, to encounter some areas that are just really stiff and you can't explain why. Usually it's because there's a little chink in the armor. I used to actually have a little area right here on my right oblique that used to just basically never want to fire. And I didn't know it for a very long time because, you know, quite frankly, the rest of your body will find a way. But over the long term, something like that can cause problems. So we're going to start with this nice half kneeling opener. And I'll show you another angle here. So I'm going to come straight ahead this way. Notice I'm not losing my pelvis forward. I'm keeping it kind of tucked under. And once again, keeping my fingers here, trying to find any chinks in that armor. Next up is one of my favorite exercises. In fact, it's so good I've actually put it in a couple different programs that I've written. And that's a roll up to a short side plank leg raise. So this one move might be a total game changer for you, as it has for thousands of other people that I've coached over the years. So check this out. I'm gonna start with my legs flat up in the air, feet pointed straight up. This palm is gonna be flat and it's going to actually remain flat throughout the exercise. I'm going to look and reach and try to come up as smoothly as possible. Now you don't need to go that slow necessarily, but I don't want you to do this and break that posture. It should be a nice, smooth movement with good hip control the whole way through. And then we're gonna end up in this position here. I like to call it a short side plank. And if you're not quite there, you can drop your hip down, and this is just a super short side plank. And if this is your level, go ahead and just be where you're at, and we can start actually improving our coordination and our lateral chain strength from here instead of up here, where, yeah, it'll be a little bit more effective, but only if you're already very strong. So we want to make sure that from this position, we can do leg circles, elbow and knee touches, and arm circles. So this side plank position is instrumental for helping to engage that lateral chain. And this is an exercise you can use anytime throughout the day, or especially as a prep for deadlifts, single leg deadlifts, squats, single leg squats. Any place you're gonna need that good lateral stability. In fact, one of the things that many people don't recognize is that when you're on one leg, running or whatever, your lateral sling, which is your glute and your opposite oblique, are the only things that really keep it all together. So if that oblique isn't firing, guess what? Hip, low back, knee are likely going to take the brunt of that trauma. So make sure that your core is dialed in order to get those hips moving well. Now, the last exercise I want to show you is important for improving the rotation of your hips. It's called a shin box position in martial arts. And basically what I want you to do is I want you to take the sole of your foot and put it basically next to your knee. And if you can sit comfortably like this and reach your arms overhead, congratulations, that puts you in about the top 5% of people mobility-wise. And what we want to do from here is just a couple different transitions. So the first thing we can do here is we can actually rotate toward that front leg and look and reach behind us. And now we've got a nice coordinated spinal twist with that hip block. So it's going to actually open up that thoracic spine again. Next thing we can do is we can actually keep the feet flat and transition through to the other side. And of course, you don't have to do it hands-free. You can dial it back and use as much support with your hands as necessary. As an additional option, if you have rings available to you, you can actually perform the same exercise and it'll deload the spine and hips quite a bit. And I've found that this particular variation allows many people to perform the exercise that otherwise might not be able to. So go ahead and throw these hip mobility drills into your routine, and I think you'll be really happy at the results. So if you have any questions, remember to just let me know, and I will look forward to talking with you tomorrow. Enjoy.